Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 10 Forward Weekly. My name is Mikey Fatum. I am also known as Ambassador Cal, and I am the community manager here for Star Trek Online. And we are joined by some amazing content creators today who are going to show you how you can make the most out of the 16th anniversary bundle ships, or at least one way of the most, because, all of these can be built in like 15 different ways, and I'm trying desperately to build a torp boat for the first time right now. Stu got frantic questions for me in the mail. All right. So let's go through quickly and just introduce everybody, and then we will dive into the builds and the descriptions of what we're doing. So first up, we've got Nick NB. Say hi, Nick.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with the Kumari on the screen. I'll be showing you guys a torp build. I'm the Australian bus driver. I do builds on Twitch and YouTube. If you don't know me, come say hi.
Fantastic. Next up, we've got Stu.
Hi, I'm Stu1701, not the other Stu. I know there's a few of us running around. I do YouTube videos and stuff like that. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the NP, which I have done a silly pet build on because I saw the NP's console summons in pets, and that was all the excuse I needed.
Love silly pet builds. All right, Wolf, go for it.
Yeah.
Hello! Anyways, I had to make Mikey there. I'm Wolf Gray. A lot of you know me. I am going to be presenting a themed proton build on this lovely ship, the Sirac.
All right. And finally, Galactic. Say hello.
Hello, I'm Galactic, although you can call me Cinder. I'm here in the NV multi-mission cruiser, and today I will be showing you a pseudo pet fire at will build. Stu definitely didn't copy me.
Copied each other's homework. Wow.
I mean, I didn't, but okay.
Yes, Wise89. I am back as of about 2 weeks ago, and good to see you, bud. And good to see everybody in chat. Thanks for being here. All right, well, Galactic, Cinder, you introduced yourself last, and now you get to go first. Tell us about your build.
Yay! So as soon as I saw the NV, I saw the hangar bay, and I was like, okay, definitely got to do a theme build for this, like era appropriate. Problem is, there's not really much for the Enterprise era, so I decided to be a little bit creative and decided to run a bit of a support pet build on mine. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Basically, I've just run a normal fire at will build for this. I've run narrow phaser beam rays, although you can use pretty much any phaser beam rays you want. I was wanting to run the Enterprising Ingenuity set from the Lobi store that has the phase cannons. However, since this thing is a 4/4 weapons layout, it wouldn't have been really ideal for it. So fire at will does mimic the look of the phase cannons a bit. I did manage to fit the spatial torpedo in though, which is very fun. Drone trains, normal thing. You've probably seen a whole bunch of videos. You probably know what most of these are, but basically Discovery 2-piece for the hull regen, competitive engines for the movement. I put the Kinema shield here for the extra shield buffs. Kinema deflector, I should say, for the shield buffs. I'm getting things mixed up. It's 5 a.m. here, guys. Please help.
Thanks for being here.
Please help. Devices are pretty much what you'd usually see: deuterium surplus, reactive arm catalyst, large oxbat for fleet power network array, subspace modulator for survivability, Kobayashi Maru, and Antari distress protocol for the extra buffs they give me. However, these are really relevant to the theme, but who's looking? For the consoles, as I said, I decided to run mix between theme and supporting my pets. So in the first, these two consoles don't really do that. Shield absorptive frequency generator is just very handy to have on any sort of build, multi-target build for the insane shield healing you can put out. DPRM, we all know why this is here. Massive hull regen buff and bonus damage.
Oh, you just said.
Well, now you do.
See? I thought you were going to skip over, and I was ready to jump in and be like, tell us why, but you did. So continue.
I am so accommodating, aren't I? Engineering. In the engineering consoles, I've got the console off of this ship deploying to Stellar Buoy. This thing has had some pretty sizable buffs, especially with pet builds, because they increase your flight, everything's flight speed, turn rate, and it's not listed here still, but it's also increasing the weapons firing cycle pace of any of your pets nearby, so that's also very handy. I got custom power metrics, the buffs it gives, like extra haste, crit severity, crit chance, and also for the bridge officer cooldowns. Yes, Flo, I got you there. I'm also running 3 advanced Hangar Bay consoles to buff the Enterprise pets, which actually have been doing surprisingly well. For pets that only have 2 weapons, Spatial Torpedo Launcher and the Wide Arc Phase Dual Heavy Cannons, they deal a lot of damage. For the science consoles, I decided to steal the console off of Stu's ship, the Triptych Tactical Control Node from that's the NP, right? Yeah, the NP.
Yeah.
Basically, when I can't really call them in here, that's annoying, but basically they summon into NP class ships to fight alongside you for 20 seconds, and also give you some speed, the buffs to crit chance, crit severity, and flight and turn rate. Point defense bombardment warhead, which comes off of the NX refit, that just basically fires off a nice torpedo that fires off lots of miniature torpedoes and then before firing it. And also, coincidentally, has a 2-piece set bonus with the DPRM, which gives me some extra phaser damage. For the tactical consoles, Fleet Power Network Array for buffing my firing circle haste of me and my pets, which include the ones summons from the NP, and also buffing the NP's consoles pets is Coordinated Engagement Solution, which comes from the Garrett. This thing buffs gives a 20% buff to pets firing cycle haste of 20 seconds, which basically refreshes, which includes everything you summon in. So my pets, weirdly enough, the Kobayashi Maroon gets a buff, and especially the console off of the NP. That's pretty neat. I got Subspace Fracture Tunneling Field. We all know this is here, console cooldowns. And Experimental Power Redirection, because more phaser beams is always pretty damn funny.
I'm making you a little bigger so people can see the tooltips a little better. There was a request in Twitch chat for people to post their builds in the Discord later. I'll make a thread for that in
already got it written up. It'll be posted after the end of this.
Okay, I'm like a thread in the builds forum, and then if you guys are able to do that, that would be awesome. I'm not gonna force you all to sit down and write an essay, but if you're already doing it or if you planned on doing it, that would be awesome.
Mine's already done.
Computer, write me an essay on this build.
Mine is already done as well. Mwah.
So many of them are already done. Oh no. I mean, oh yes. I mean, okay.
Stu, why didn't you let me copy this homework? What the hell, man? For the skills, basically Intel primary, temporal secondary, Intel for the flanking bonus, and temporal for Entropic Rider, which is basically damage over time for your only 2 weapons. Personal space traits. There's only a couple of things here worth mentioning. One is enhance and actually I'll go through them all, why not? First one is enhance and protect. Every time you activate a captain's ability like evasive maneuvers, attack pattern alpha, or whatever the engineering and science version of that is, up to 10 pets in 10 kilometers gain a bunch of crit chance and accuracy rating, and also speed and turn rate, which is fun. Go down fighting, essential for attack captains, allows you to use go down fighting at any hull integrity. Adaptive offense for the crit chance that turns into crit severity. Late coordinator for the bonus damage depending on the size of your team. Intelligence agent attaché to reduce the cooldown on my captain's abilities every time I get a critical hit. Wing commander to increase the speed at which my hangar pets rank up and therefore deal more damage and also get more buffs from the hangar bay consoles.
And also include Mark Hamill, you know.
I might be too young, but I might be too young to
understand that joke.
Wing Commander was a video game that came out. Continue, go ahead.
And then was turned into a movie. And
I am too young for you people. Twinkling lights. Even though I'm only running 1 energy type, it's still 12% damage resistance running debuff, which is very nice, especially since I'm not running the type 7s on this build. Independent Wingmate, the first hangar pet I launch gains 200% bonus damage and 200 damage resistance rating. The Boiler effect for console cooldowns, unconventional systems for everyone's reason, we know why this is here, and contexts for Kings for either damage resistance rating or bonus or damage. For my Starship traits, I've got a lot of very expensive ones here, but you can always substitute some of these with what you have. In particular, Breen's Free Fire, you could easily substitute that for Entwined Tactical Matrices, especially since I'm running the Spatial Torpedoes, which have a cooldown of 2 seconds. But we're running Thunder Run from Stu's least favorite ship, the Constitution 3, basically bonus damage every time we run Fire at Will. Breen's Free Fire, that's the Fire Will Extender. Superior Area Denial, which debuffs enemies that you hit and also grants Scatter Volley, in this case, to my hangar pets every time I activate Fire at Will. Temporal Tunneling, which gives me 100% firing cycle haste energy weapon for 5 seconds whenever I activate an exotic or temporal producer ability, which is why I am running Best Served Cold here, because its minimum cooldown is 15 seconds.
Hey, Galactic. I know.
Yeah.
I appreciate you're going real fast to make sure the stream doesn't go too long, but you could probably slow down a tiny bit.
I am so sorry.
No, that's
Faster.
a-okay.
I don't know how to do slow. I am on 4 Monster Energies at 5 in the morning.
Go faster.
No!
ADHD,
No.
don't
Hello,
work like that.
welcome to Attention for Weekly. My name is Mike Finn. This is a new stream. All right, sorry. Continue.
Scramble Fighters, which comes from... I actually forgot where this comes from. I know I got it off the exchange. Every time I launch every time I use the launch hanger pet action, my pets get 50% of a maximum hull restore. They get a 25% damage buff for 5 seconds and are immune to all damage for 5 seconds. This is basically the main thing that's keeping my hanger pets alive, allowing them to get up to rank 5 faster, and yeah, it will deal the most amount of damage. Next is Broadbite. Zip
Stu,
it.
I saw that.
Stop Undercenter in the
What did he
chat.
do? What did he do?
He
Broadside
just
beam
held up a
support.
pretty ship.
Broadside beam support from the every time I activate fire at will, it basically gives me an extra phaser beam. They look like regular pulse phases, enough for it to be thematic. And finally, I'm running the trait from the Hydra, Strike Group Command Authority. Bonus damage for pets based on the strongest pet. If I have a fighter out, like the Enterprise shuttle pods, I get a 30% bonus damage buff. If I have a frigate out, which actually includes the NP console, everyone gets a 40% damage buff, and well, there's no multi-vectoral sorcerer in place, so no 50% damage buff. Boo.
Multi-vector on an
normally
NX
go through
ship, that'd be
space
something.
It's just the Columbia. Space reputations. Do you guys want to see that, or is that something you'd rather me
Is it
skip
an
over?
important part of the build?
Not particularly. I suppose the most unique part of it would be energy refrequencer, which is basically your outgoing damage is applied as a whole heal to you, which is pretty nice for survivability.
Very cool. All right.
Okay, oh, sorry, I've got the
No. You're good. You're good. Keep moving. I was just gonna say what's up
Yeah.
next.
bridge officer stations. Most of these are just uncon triggers because, well, non-conventional systems is better these days, and I'd like to use my consoles more often. So, null pointer flood, Heisenberg amplifier, chronometric conversion field, timeline collapse, jam targeting sensors, tractor beam, and photonic shockwave are all for unconventional systems. I know that many bridge officers for one trait. How could I? Fire at will and attack venom beta. Those are there because, well, this is a fire at will build, and some debuffs always nice. Reverse shield polarity, because fire at will builds tend to take a lot of threats, so having an extra shield heal is always handy. Torpedo spread 2, because more missiles the funnier. Best served. What can I say? I like my spam builds. I've got 2 of them on the channel.
Nice.
Best served cold. This is the thing that's proccing temporal tunneling, and it's been a bridge officer ability I've been running on a lot of my builds recently, because its minimum cooldown is 15 seconds, which is exactly how long the minimum cooldown on the temporal tunneling trait is. And finally, photonic officer wide for the bridge officer reductions.
That's why everybody slots it.
Yay! Hang on. For my what are these guys? Duty officers. You can tell I don't open these guys up for a while. I think really here is of note, the most important ones I'd say are the flight deck officers and the quartermasters. The flight deck officers reduce the recharge time on the hangar bays, and the quartermasters reduce the time on my large ox battery.
I was told.
So
the screen
that is
very
about
blurry, so I'm bringing it back down. But
that is the build.
wow.
Is there any
And then
questions?
You're drifting around your ship. I don't see any questions in chat. I'm just going to ask because this is, typical questions for finishing up a ship build. What kind of playstyle do you envision this ship having? How would this handle, I don't know, like an Argala or something?
Well, most of my builds pretty much can handle anything in the game, but
right.
Yeah.
Brag.
What?
he was calling you out on the humble brag. Please continue. I didn't necessarily mean Argala.
I know
I
I'm on the
guess,
talk.
Argala is the one that we all trashed within 2 seconds. Apparently, I'm still too quiet. But if there's anything like how would you fly this ship now that you've got it all set up and shown off to us? Like, I know that's fairly obvious, unless you're me. So assume you're talking to me and tell me how to fly this ship.
I would fly. Not fly in the middle of, not fly in the middle of it, but I basically let the pets go in first, and then I'll just follow it up, supporting with fire at will and attack pen and beta, and also deal a whole bunch of haste damage on my own thanks to fleet power network array and temporal tunneling. Basically, the pets are there to do the damage, and I'm there to wow, words, Cinder.
It's
I'm
5
there to
a.m.
take
You're
the threat
good.
off of them. It's 5:30 now. I have no excuse now.
Now you gotta be awake.
Yeah. Yeah, the pets go in, they deal all the main amount of damage. I'm just there just to take the threat off of them.
All right. Well, very, very cool. Quick note, Kel MG, your post got modded and Twitch is not letting me unmod it, which, sorry about that, but it won't let you post a link. But he was trying to post a link to petition to save Starfleet Academy. And you, yes, you can Google that and sign that petition so we can get more Starfleet Academy. Do it. Do it now.
Starfleet Academy,
waiting.
Starfleet Academy, Starfleet Academy.
We're all going to sit here and watch you until you do it. No, I'm kidding.
Please don't.
Well, that was awesome, Galactic. Thank you for the rapid fire deep dive. I appreciate it.
I probably had too much caffeine, I'll be honest.
That's okay. I had a friend once who was in a production of The Importance of Being Earnest with my wife, and for some reason before one matinee, he decided to shotgun 2 Monster Energies at the same time, and the play was 20 minutes shorter that day. All right. Well then, next on the docket, ladies and gentlemen, it's Stu. Let me bring up your share screen and tell us all about this beautiful NP you've got going on.
Okay, this is the NP. It is a multi-mission light escort, which means it is, well, it's an escort, but because I said multi-mission. It is a America Worker light escort, which means one, it has America Worker seating, it has the innovation mechanic, and because it is a light escort, that's sort of like the Federation version of a Raider, so it has improved.
Is
Raider
Micro
flanking.
Machine style talking like the default
We
of these
both
content
have
creator
ADHD.
streams? It's the first one that I've done.
I told you, ADHD don't work like that. I don't slow down.
Also,
I've been-
we're all working on that past time frame of 20 minutes or less, preferably, so
that's
that way
true.
we can leave room for Nick.
I still definitely want 20 minutes or less, but yes, I've been directing a play the last couple of weeks, and one of my actresses talks about as fast as the two of you do, and I have to keep being like, please, the audience need to understand.
Keep giving notes, please.
Yeah.
The 20-minute timer was definitely because I went an hour for my first build on the first stream I was on.
Good God,
Sweet
Nick.
Liberty, what the heck?
True story.
Sooner was like,
True
yeah,
story.
let's bring that in a
True
little
story.
Oh my God. All right. Yeah, no, you're all correct. Chiop says host not used to people getting to the point. Sometimes I interview people who talk real fast, and sometimes I don't, and we'll tell story time about that later when we're not rushing through ship builds. Stu, get back to it before it's too late.
My lungs.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Stu?
oh,
Did we lose you?
no. Oh, God.
What?
Okay, you're
You
back.
killed
happened?
him.
You're back. I told
Am I still here?
you to slow down and it broke the internet. Now you can go.
I told you. Okay, Federation version of a Raider. It's got improved Raider flanking. It's got a 5-1 weapons layout, so this is going to be very useful for a forward-facing build. So think like cannon scatter volley or dual beam banks, or because this has a lieutenant commander command seat, it's also really good for a torpedo build. I did not do a torpedo build on this thing. I did an energy weapon build on this thing with some focus on pets, because the console on this thing, the Triptych tactical control node, is capable of summoning frigate pets that are modeled after this ship. And basically, and like I said earlier, that was all the excuse I needed to put a pet build on this thing. So I also included Temporal Disorder, Elite Alliance Squadron Beacon, Athen Prime Fleet Museum, and the Gemini device, so I could keep summoning it more ships. And then I also included consoles to support those pets, like Coordinated Engagement Solution, and the console off the Hydra that has a ridiculously long name that I'm going to torture you guys with.
Wait, no,
Because this
say
thing
it,
also
say
had
it, but
improved
say it
Raider
as fast
flanking.
as you can.
No.
I will.
Yeah, I was gonna say until you said as fast as you can. I ain't doing that.
Please continue.
Okay, I also included I also included the sensor phantom projector because this thing does deal improved raider flanking. Sensor phantom projector will improve that raider flanking by further increasing flanking damage that is capable that you can do with this ship. Which also goes hand in hand with the intel specialization, because with the intel specialization, you also gain access to space flanking. All that flanking damage stacks on top of each other. So as long as you are focused on the aft arcs of your enemy ship, you're going to be doing a decent amount of damage. Though one annoyance I do have is that does kind of conflict with the subspace fracture tunneling field, which I very much like to have for the sake of reducing the cooldowns of my other universal consoles. But subspace teleport always puts you in front of the ship, so you're gonna have to do some flying around. Fortunately, this is a small, nimble, light escort. It's very easy to just kind of right behind the other ship. It's just a minor thing that bugs me. Everything else here is more for the sake.
There's one that teleports you behind, right?
Yes, but then I would lose a damage console. Number go up. Number go up. That's all I want.
Number up. Okay, sorry. Please continue.
Yeah. So beyond that is the more damage-focused consoles. We've got the DPRM, which Cinder talked about earlier, for the massive amounts of bonus damage and hull regeneration that this give. The Fleet Power Network Array off of the Awani, which will buff which will give you really impressive buffs to what's it called? Energy Weapon Haste, which is really good for both the ship. And the cool thing about this console is that it will also apply to allied ships that are around you, including both friendly players as well as allied pets. So this is going to be buffing the pets as well as me. And just because I really like this console, experimental power redirection off the Excelsior 2, it's overloaded at Will 3, so you're firing heavy beam arrays in every direction. It's really good for and behind you, because this is a forward face build. You kind of want to be able to clear out some of those smaller enemies that might be.
We lost you for a second there, Stu. Sorry. You said it was really good for.
Classic. It's really good for clearing out enemies that are around or behind you. Since this is a forward-facing build, you're going to be a little vulnerable in those other areas, and this is really good for that. Another console that you could use instead of that, that's a bit easier to obtain, is the console off of the Kerala, the broadside something, I forget the exact name of it. But yeah, the console off the Kerala Temporal Battlecruiser is also a good substitute for that, because that will do big AoEs of phaser damage on either side of you. And then, of course, is some of the usual passive consoles, Custom Power Matrix for its passive buffs, mainly for like the crit severity and the crit chance, crit severity, and the reduced weapon power cost, which is useful to have here, as well as the shield absorptive frequency generator, useful for buffing your shields whenever you're firing your energy weapons. And that's all the consoles. Okay, I did all of them. Yay! For the rest of the gear, I went with a phaser build. For the rest of the gear, I went with a phaser build. You can do whatever energy weapon damage type you like. I'm not using anything specifically that is buffing phaser individually. Someone just sent me a DM. I see you, but I'm not looking at it. So phaser damage, you can use whatever you want. Specifically for the phaser, though, I went with the wide arc phase dual heavy cannons, which do fit with the Enterprise era theme, but I did not use them for the sake of theme. They're actually just pretty good cannons. Terran Task Force heavy cannons, because Terran Task Force weapons always do crazy amounts of damage. Radiolytic dual phaser cannon, because radiolytics have a pretty decent proc on them, but again, you can use whatever phaser weapons you want. This is the only one on here that isn't a unique weapon. The Agony quad cannons, just because I like quad cannons. I just like them. They're probably a different. There are probably other options you can go with there too. I'm sure there were some that would argue that another dual heavy cannon would actually be more beneficial, but I like this. And then, of course, a Maelstrom torpedo. I'm going too fast now. Look what I'm doing.
You weren't going too fast before?
No. Then a Maelstrom torpedo, which will do really useful for spike damage. If you're not familiar with the Maelstrom torpedoes, they have a charge effect on them. They can charge up to 3 times. The higher the charges, the more powerful the torpedo will be. So with these, you want to use them a bit more strategically than most other torpedoes in the game. You want to wait till those charges all gather up, and when you have all 3, then you unload it on a big, heavy target to deal really impressive spike damage. The downside with these, though, is that they are there's many of them. There's only 2 Maelstrom torpedoes in the game. They're both difficult to obtain because one was an event store item, one was an event prize item, and one is all exclusive to a legendary bundle. So, and if you don't have either of them, just use a normal spammable torpedo like the Dark Matter Quantum torpedo from the Discovery reputation. Then for the decks, we got Colony Deflector for the buffs to crit chance and crit severity, the Competitive Reputation Engine for the speed buffs, for the Warp Core, the Tholian Nucleating Warp Core, which I like for the Tholian Warp Crystal effect that it has that will summon in little warp crystals whenever you kill an enemy. And will leave the little warp crystal will function kind of like a mine, but if you hit it, it will give you second shield. So it's both a heal and a damage ability on a warp core, which is really nice. You're not going to get that kind of damage from any other thing that's going to go in this slot. And then the Kinnemer Alliance Regenerative Shield, which I like for the antimatter retort beam. So anytime one of your shield facings go down, it will shoot an anti-proton beam at a nearby enemy, and then it'll regen it back up.
White Wolf,
And
that's a
I'm
great
going really
idea.
fast.
Folks watching the VOD later, you can actually reduce the playback speed. I know normally we put the playback speed up. You can put it down.
I should also mention
I
I should also mention I have a video for this build recorded. So if you're missing anything, you can go and watch the video on my channel, which will be going live right after the stream. So you can go check that out. I know, right? I'm awful.
Yeah. I'm
the,
terrible for the content creators that I bring on this stream to promote themselves. What
Right.
a terrible thing that is.
The skill specializations, I am using Intel as the primary because, like I said before, space flanking. And for the secondary, I like to use Temporal Operative because you gain access to Entropic Rider, which I like because that adds some extra physical damage whenever I fire my weapons. I also like using Temporal Operative because that means I also have ground buffs going on, so I don't have to feel like I'm missing out on buffs when I'm using something like Strategist, which is a strictly space secondary, but you could use Strategist if you prefer. For the traits, there isn't much in the personal traits that will buff summon in pets. So most of this is just for the sake of buffing the actual weapons on my ship. So adaptive offense, Ethereum beam enhancement, green shield tunneling, all those are good for buffing damage. The Intel handler for buffing crit chance. Again, context is for kings. This one is nice because it's both a damage buff and a damage resistance buff, depending on when you're getting hit. So it'll kind of flip-flop between the two. Innocuous because it will reduce your threat generation, which I find to be kind of helpful on a ship this nimble because this is a light escort. It's got a very swishy ship, so I like to try to reduce my threat as much as possible.
I said it is floaty good.
But good, yeah, it do explodey good very well because tiny little escort, not well armored. Yeah, try to help reduce you to not getting killed, and it also buff your crit severity a little bit too, so that's always nice. Intel Agent Attaché for the brain is hiccuping
While you're hiccuping, Firefly00 wants to know if interference drones will help with this at all.
Interference. I'm not familiar with that one. Which one is that?
I have no idea.
To
To the Stow Wiki!
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. I'm looking it up
me
now.
too.
Give me a moment. My internet's faster. No mind.
While they're doing that, superior cannon training because bonus damage to the cannons. It's a CSV build. Of course, I'm using cannons on this thing. Terran targeting systems for the crit severity. Yes, Ender. What is it?
Interference drones is the trait from the Section 31 Intel Dreadnought cruiser. Whenever you launch whenever you launch Hangar Pet, you get temporary hit points 15 seconds, and while you have temporary hit points, you gain 33% all damage for your pets.
I can answer that right now. No, it will not help this build because it just said it requires a hangar bay in order to activate. The ship does not have a hangar bay, so that will not be helpful there. But that could help you on use Cinder's build on the NV.
Which I'm not on anymore.
Last of the personal trait. Last of the personal traits, unconventional systems to reduce the cooldown of my other universal consoles, as well as the Boimler effect to help reduce the cooldown of my bridge officer abilities. Starship traits, starting off with harmonic distribution off the Harmony, also to help reduce the cooldown of my universal consoles. Just getting these cooldowns off these consoles is always helpful just because the lower the cooldown is, the more you get to use it, and the more powerful it becomes. Particle fluctuation analysis. Every time you activate a universal console, you will gain buffs to crit chance, crit severity, current and max aux power, and what's the last one? Plus 15 to Starship Perception, which that last one isn't that useful, but those first three are pretty useful on this build. And because I'm going to be constantly activating universal consoles, that's going to be kind of helpful to boost that and whatever. That comes off of the legendary Nebula, I believe. Strike group command authority off the Hydra. Cinder went over this one already because this was also unhurled. Useful for a pet build because it will give your pets bonus damage depending on what sort of classification of pet they are. This build is going to be mainly using frigate pets, so a lot of the summon pets that you're going to be getting will be getting pretty consistently that plus 40% to bonus damage. You can see now I switched to YouTube. I edit a lot of this out. Terran Goodbye for the extra crit chance, the Ruin of Our Enemies for the bonus damage it gives, plus it's further helping with the recharge time of my Bridge Officer abilities. Withering Barrage, because this is a cannon build, CSV, so this is the ability that is extending the duration of Cannon Scatter Volley. Those extension traits are basically a must for most build types. And the last one, this one was much more theme focused. Occult Pioneer 2, when you are surrounded by at least 7 enemies, which just means if there are 7 enemies within a 10-kilometer radius of you, it will summon in up to 3 Pioneer 2 ships that will fight alongside you. So it kind of fits into the theme of summoning more pets. Bridge Officer seating. The most notable stuff about this is Scatter Volley. Obviously, I said this was a cannon build using Cannon Scatter Volley. You need Cannon Scatter Volley. For the pet theme, I also went with Call Emergency Artillery. Suppression Barrage probably would have been smarter here, just because that would lower the damage output of enemy ships, so keep you from going explodey. But again, pet theme, so I wanted to call Emergency Artillery. And again, to feed into the pet theme, launch Federation Mission Scout Ship, which will launch the little Star Trek Insurrection scout ships that will fight alongside you. Everything else is pretty standard for a Cannon Scatter Volley build. We got narrow sensor bands to buff the energy weapons, attack pattern beta for the debuff. I put in Tractor Beam Catapults just because I thought it was funny, because you basically just throw an asteroid at your enemy. But this one's kind of expensive because it comes out of the lock boxes. Alternatively, you could also do Chemosite Lace Weaponry, which is also kind of expensive because it also comes out of the lock boxes. Or you can use Tactical Team, which is very cheap because you can get it for free from a vendor, and that can be useful because it will give you a small buff to your weapons, as well as automatically balance your shields while it's active. Then emergency powered engines to trigger the emergency con hologram, which will lower the cooldown of your evasive maneuvers. Because this is a small, nimble ship, speed is going to be a pretty important factor here. In fact, actually, that's one of the things that the ship's console will give you too. This will also provide you not just with pets, but also with crit chance, crit severity, and flight speed and turn rate. So speed is going to be a bit of a theme for this build as well. And the emergency con hologram further feeds into that. And everything else is just unconventional systems triggers.
All the way down. Just layer upon layer.
Basically.
Triggers.
Like uncon trigger, uncon.
Nice.
Why don't we
Nice,
get a
nice.
con?
All right.
And that's about it. So any questions?
We had one question from
Comments?
chat earlier, but I don't
Anything
see
you want me
any
to repeat?
coming in. Yeah, do the whole thing again, but this time a little bit faster.
It's time a little faster. I almost heard something.
I was
once
muted.
more,
I
but
said
with
that was
feeling.
my joke.
Somebody was saying when they use the tractor beam catapult, they always say "The Rock says," "Oh, it was Angel of Death, 1999," which is great. Which then of course means you have to ask any ship you're throwing the asteroid at, "What's your name?" So then you can go, "It doesn't matter what your name is," before the asteroid explodes into it. Kev McA85 over on YouTube. I know you got this question answered already, but just in case anybody else was wondering, this bundle does come out on console next Tuesday, April 7th. So get ready for it then. That sound you hear is Trexpert bouncing up and down of excitement. All right. So let's move on to the next ship. Wolf, you're up, buddy.
No, I'm not. I'm still sitting down.
Hey.
Anywho,
Now, okay,
guys.
somebody asked in chat, but I actually have to know. Did you cut the headphone holes in that hat?
Yes.
Fantastic.
I did, but I have 3 of these. So
Fantastic.
Oh,
I should do that.
no, I just saw the holes. No.
if I didn't
I
have,
haven't seen the hole.
if I didn't have more of these, I would not have done it because this hat is a lot of money. But it's a sacrifice I
Same.
made for a reward on my channel for certain goals. I sacrificed the integrity of my hat. So yes, I did in fact cut holes in a leather hat,
Nice.
How dare you?
and it was Chi Ups that asked, and I did, and I also answered him in chat.
I know. I saw
Okay.
that, but then I wanted to ask myself because I didn't see your answer because it went by. Too
Oh,
fast.
okay. So I am obviously doing the new Serac Intel Science Destroyer. Previous CM and I had discussed certain theme builds to
You
like
could say
lean
her
into.
name. That she's not dead.
Oh, I'm aware she's not dead. Just hold on a minute. Just hold on a minute. So we've discussed lots
Hold
of
on
theme
to your
builds,
hats.
and with the release of the Ethereum proton weapons, it became possible to do a 100% all weapon slot proton theme. And we have had years of proton stuff dropped in the Dyson events. So I did a little bit of prep for y'all so that way you can hopefully read stuff a little bit easier. So we have, if this thing does what it's supposed to, it's not.
Ah,
There we go. I think. Is it doing? It
I
is
don't
not.
know. What are you
Why
trying-
would
what are
you
trying
not
to
do
it?
this? There we go.
Those are extra,
Oh,
that's
you've
why.
got a PowerPoint presentation.
I have a PowerPoint for you all. All
Well,
right. I do not have chat
Cla-
visible. I cannot see it.
Class extra bonus points for Wolf Gray, extra credit. That will raise his
Yay.
grade from a F to a D minus.
F is for Enterprise F.
Yeah. Just
So-
real quick before you dive in,
I went to the extra mile. I just monetized it. What's the problem with that?
You're right. You're right. I'll bump you up to a D minus too. Wild Wolf over on YouTube wanted to know what Trizander was talking about with a 5/3 sovereign. I don't really know what that's about. Over the weekend there was this.
I
weird
can
post-
explain.
There was this weird post on the internet, on the STO socials, that I guess some people thought was full of secret codes that pointed to a Game Informer magazine from before the launch of STO, and there was a sovereign on the cover of that magazine, and there were some clues about First Contact Day. So people are really theorizing right now. But me personally, I have no idea what that's about. Okay, now that I've done that, let's continue with your build, Wolf.
All right. So we are using the shiny new skin. I am also using this. This picture doesn't show it, but I'm also using the Ethereum Vanity Shield on here. So for those of you who do not know where this ship comes from, even though this is the 16th anniversary bundle stream, this ship comes from the 16th anniversary. You can get it separately or as part of the bundle. Womp womp. Why is it?
With all these
All
shit,
right,
that's
so we are running with the. Don't get me off my PowerPoint, so I'm actually looking at it in real time, not the stream delay. So we are running the original Dyson event and mission drivetrain. So we have the deflector, the Solanae deflector array. It comes from the Solanae Dyson Sphere, Step Between Stars. We're running the secondary deflector from the Solanae, the original Solanae Dyson class Science Destroyer. Or you can get it from, so you can get this from Reclaims or 600 low buy. The engines, come from the Step Between Stars. The core comes from the event site Dyson Destroyer, again, event reclaims or low buy, and the shields come from a Step Between Stars.
Thank you.
Oh, what?
Never mind.
All right, so the Solanae Dyson Deflector, it doesn't really give any really solid, amazing, awesome bonuses out the window, but you get your drain expertise, your standard exotic particle abilities. It's basically here for the shield bonuses and the theme. Same thing for the secondary deflector. It does help a little bit with staying alive and some damage from all the consoles that I have on here. And again, back to the this is mostly here for some of the set bonuses and the like. Solene Hyper Defense Impulse Engines, they are here for speed and theme. Again, not a lot that's going to give you a bonus to and build power. Yeah, there's no DPS meta in this build when it comes to the drivetrain. Does have some pretty solid bonuses for shields. Warp Core comes off the we discussed that the Warp Core comes off the event ship. Has a really cool power in sector space to jump you around if you want to get to where you're going a little faster without using mission transwarps. But again, some bonuses to damage control, and the biggest part about this that I like for this build is the 7.5% of your weapon's power to Ox power, which helps some of my other abilities out.
Oh, I like the theme song.
The shield, again, not the greatest in the world. Actually does pretty good, though, in trials. This ship is actually elite capable. Not going to be top end, but Nick and I have a run with it where it was at 400k, so it still does decent. But the biggest portions of this end up coming from the hybrid technology set. Grants all of your weapons attacks, energy weapons attacks of 2.5% chance to repair your hull, so it keeps me alive because my theme build is very, very squishy, especially on this one. Cyclic conduit, shield conduit, cyclic shield conduits, extra shield power setting. Shields are also more powerful at lower settings. Really good for when I'm running around trying not to die and need to run away, but still need more power to shields. And then the active clicky power of active or advanced metaphasic shields allows me to go, oh god, I'm going to die, and put a shield bubble up, but it does cut my damage by 20%, cuts my speed to 50%, and adds 600 damage bonus all damage resistance rating, and some power to my shields. So original Dyson Destroyer stuff from the way back era. Weapons are the Pavin Proton Energy Torpedo Launcher. You can either got this from event reclaims when you did whatever that name of the event was, or you can get out of the Muds Market for lots and lots of Zen.
And occasionally less Zen. Sometimes. If you
yes. yes. As I have said in the past and been chastised for, I highly recommend waiting for sales. Don't buy one not on sale, but if you want to pay full price, go for it. Ethereum Concordium Wide Arc Dual Heavy Proton Cannons. I opened a bunch of boxes, so I did not pay this price, but you can get them out of the Ethereum Concord lockbox or off the exchange for 100 million energy credits. So I know most of my builds are usually on the Econo side, but I decided to indulge. Then we have the Ethereum Concordium Proton Dual Heavy Cannons. Also from the Ethereum Concordium lockbox, or 7 million energy credits. I did round up to the nearest million if it was like way up there. So Ethereum Concordium Proton Dual Cannons, also from the Ethereum Concord box or the exchange, 4 million energy credits. These prices are accurate as of this morning.
So they've changed wildly since then.
Probably. So Pavin Energy Torpedo does Pavin Energy Torpedoes. Lots of fun damage if y'all want to grab the tooltips. This build will be posted later in the build section of the Discord. It's here literally just for the theme of this is a proton build, and it's proton energy. You don't have to add any kinetic consoles to make this work. That thing's super awesome in here. Other than the proton weapons zap out to other nearby foes. Ethereum Concordium Wide Arc Cannons, pretty hefty hitting. They have a chance to do Protonic Crush. All the hey, nope, no. Why are you making noise?
It's a very nice little jingle there.
Yeah,
Hey.
it's the again, the proton cannons stats for those. Waiting for this to catch up. All right, so aft weapons on this are omnidirectional Pavin Proton Beam Array. It is not here for meta, but hey, it works, right? Event reclaims, muds or muds. Omnidirectional Ethereum Concordium Proton Beam Array. This is probably the most expensive piece of this build, but again, I got it out of a lockbox, so whew, I don't even have that many energy credits. 250 million energy credits as of this morning. And that was the cheapest one at the current, and that was a Mark II unupgraded. So good luck. Ethereum Concordium Proton Dual Heavy Cannons. Those come from, again, the lockbox, 7 million credits for the cannon, the turret, sorry. And the experimental weapon comes from the T6 Dyson Destroyer bundles. So acquired by any T6 Dyson Science Destroyer. Again, here because it is part of the Proton theme. And I really, really enjoy how they look. So your omnidirectional poly and proton, you got your 33% chance for resonant charge to target up to the 10 targets max, so on and so forth. It is, again, here for hitting hard and being proton.
Somebody's really trying to get a hold of you.
Who's trying to get a hold of me?
Oh no, I heard someone's cell phone go off. I thought that was on you.
No, it's this tablet. This
We've been
tablet
trying to reach you, but
won't shut the
Starship's
hell up,
extended
even though I
warranty.
muted it twice.
Galactic, I heard it and it was funny. All right, keep going,
Yay.
Wolf. Sorry.
Okay, so I have the omnidirectional Ethereum Concord the proton beam because, again, as we said, theme. You get the product protonic crush. Same thing for the turret. Proton crush, proton damage. The experimental dual heavy proton cannons. Now, the thing to remember on this build, these cannons are only accessible when I am in tactical mode of this ship. So if I forget to switch modes as I run into battle, I'm missing some weapons. They hit harder, or they add damage resistance or negative damage resistance rating with my aux power increased. So I try to keep aux power. Obviously, that's the thing I forgot to put in here is my power settings for this, but that's fine. All right, so the set bonus for this, obviously the proton super weaponry, the interstellar bombardment, reduce the recharge of the Palmer. The set 3 is reduce the recharge rate of the Pavin interstellar bombardment beam. So 1 minute cooldowns. There is a lot of 1 minute cooldowns on this ship for the universal consoles. It's amazing, and that is before we start the uncons. Isomags, 1 beam, 1 cannon. Findable for under 5 million on the exchange. Engineering consoles, all of these universal consoles, it doesn't matter where they go except for the Isomags. Console from the Helios, the custom power matrix, acquired event reclaims, not in the mud store yet that I saw last I checked. It wasn't there this morning, I don't think. This is where it gets a little fun. There were Zen store releases of T5 Dyson destroyers. So this is where this build gets a little expensive if you don't have these things. Console Universal Proton Destabilizer Module, acquired from the Montgomery, Chonte, or Harpaya Reconnaissance Science Destroyers. Universal Shield Inversion Projector, acquired from the Helios, Tasub, or Capri-Mule Surveillance Destroyer. I don't know. Capri-Mule, Capi something. Anyways, that's fine. Laugh it up.
Keep trying, Wolfie. You'll get it.
Yeah, that's why it's on this. That's why it's on the screen. That's why it's on the screen. Universal Reverberant Shield Inversion Projector, Zen Store, or the Rallus Temporal Science Destroyer. We have the Proton Eruption Module from the Lola Intel Science Destroyer and the Universal Networked Protonic Shield Matrix from the Kardashev Command Dyson Destroyer. Those are the T6 variants. You will need all 3 to make this work. We have the Console Universal Protonic Snare Projector. This is from the Typhoon, so event or muds. So that is a Proton console as well. There is one other Proton console you could put in here if you happen to have the D4X. There's the Protonic Charge Launcher. If you want to swap this out or swap out one of the to do isomags to have even more protons.
All the proton.
Console Universal, you are dismissed. This console has proven to be super fun on this build and has saved this fragile little ship more times than I can count in my tests over the last week. Ethereum Concordium lockbox or 6.5 million energy credits. Shield absorptive frequency generator. This also keeps me alive. Acquired from the Zen store. Legendary Valdor or Legacy of Romulus Mega Bundle ships, or the ship vendor for 75,000 dilithium. Lots of dilithium.
So much.
Yes, it'll take you like 2 weeks to get that. You'll be fine. Protonic Shield Matrix acquired from the Omega class, the Moog class, or the Titan class Strategic Science Destroyers. That is the last of the set consoles for the T5 ships. And then, of course, the Pavin Crystal Battery from the Pavin Space set, MUDs or Reclaims.
Okay, so you said of course. Why of course on that one?
Because it speeds down, or hold on. Where's my back button? I turned off the tablet for
There is no back button. There is only
no, I did integrations into I don't need the back button. It's on one of the slides as we go forward. It helps with the reduction in the firing of the subspace proton beam. So again, console advanced engineering. Most of us know what isomags do at this point. Most of us also know what the custom power matrix does, but for those of you who don't, we use it for cooling down our bridge officer abilities and our weapon haste, and sometimes we're really crazy and activate the other powers for more crit chance, more crit severity, or cheesing the universal designs. No, I don't have universal designs on here. Proton Destabilizer module. It zaps things and has a 1 minute cooldown because there's the set bonus for having all the sets. Shield inversion projector drains shields. Makes it where it's nice to drain their shields into your allies, because it also helps your allies if they're close to that target. Universal Reverberant Shield Inversion Projector. It has maximum shield power and 10% shield capacity. Targeted AoE drain shields, secondary shields to allies. And it will target up to 5 other foes within 5 kilometers. So it's a nice little AoE clicky. Also a 1 minute recharge. And these are the default recharge times. This is not counting uncon triggers yet. Universal Proton Eruptor Module. Targeted AoE, maintain proton damage in a 180-degree arc, affects up to 3 other targets, also a 1 minute cooldown, and these all do proton damage. That was everything on this page. And then we have the Universal Network Protonic Shield Matrix, periodic damage absorptions for self and allies, so it's a really good ally healing console, so you can actually, in this crazy theme ship, actually help your allies if they're starting to explode or yourself is starting to explode.
Wait,
Protonic,
you do that?
I do. I mean, Protonic Snare Projector. Projectile weapon trading, improves kinetic damage, does me no good because I have energy torpedoes. Projectile shield penetration helps me because I have the proton torpedoes. It's like Star Wars all over again. Clicky Neptune Stare, create an expanding net. Damage. Oh man, that got layered wrong. And damage and hold creates a network of energy, travels up to 10 kilometers, does lots of proton damage. This one does not have any set synergies, so it has a 2 minute recharge time. Sad panda. Console, you are dismissed. Improves shield resistance and shield regeneration, as well as has a chance of Protonic Crush. Adds a chance of Protonic Crush. Also, the clicky power, you are dismissed. Initial burst of 13,000 some odd energy damage. I think I took these snips while I was on the ground, so the tooltips are wrong. And then 602 physical damage every 1 second for a bunch of 15 seconds. So it's a nice little AoE that flies around with you and pushes things away from you. Really nice for taking out swarmers or other pets in some of the TFOs where you can get swarmed. Obviously, the shield absorptive frequencer is so you can try and keep your shields up as you're firing. Lots of blasting, just complete passive, no clickies. Protonic shield matrix, periodic damage absorption. It's a good clicky when you want to make sure you stay alive. That's pretty much what it's here for, and for completing the set for the 1 minute cool clickies on the rest of these. And then, of course, the universal Pavin crystal battery. 30-second shared cooldown on cannon firing modes. Pretty useless because I'm only using one cannon ability. Yes, Nick, I know I'm disappointing you. I don't have multiple cannon abilities. I'm sorry. I actually flushed this build out. You don't get to give me shit. 8% firing cycle haste for energy weapons, and then plus 69.8% proton damage. So proton build,
Nice.
proton damage. Okay, so the Dyson Dynamics set with with the 2-piece and the 3-piece, I get, I was definitely on the ground. You get proton damage that scales with Ox, and then minus 50% threat generation. Thank God, because this ship will explode if you look at it wrong. Protonic overclocking. Every 2 seconds in combat that you do not take hull damage, gain 2 current and maximum auxiliary subsystem power for 2 seconds, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it helps keep me alive if I can manage to not actually have anything see me. Good luck with that, though. This ship actually did way better in tests than I anticipated. I think I told Nick I was going to expect it to be around a 200k build, and then it was not.
Yeah, day one it was like 200. It was like,
yeah,
it's
and that's with when day one we tested it when the character was 4 days old. Like the character was 4 days old. Yes, this character has not hit tier 6 reps yet. It is not even 14 days old yet. That's tonight, like at midnight 30, my local. I made it last Tuesday.
You keep track of when the exact
well,
lifetime of your character.
It's a new character. It's pretty easy to know when I made it. I've been working pretty heavy on it since. Oops, I was not ready for that yet. Go back one. So the Solanae Advanced Technology Set, 4-piece of 4-piece. Solanae Energy Lattice Self improves proton damage by 4%. Well, again, more proton damage boost. Starship shield capacity, set 3. Reduces cooldown time of Dyson Science Destroyer console powers by 36. Affects destabilized proton beam, protonic shielding, and shield inversion. Solanae synergy upgrades Dyson Science Destroyer console powers. Destabilized proton beam will deal its damage over time much more quickly. Protonic shielding, activating this ability, also heals shields of allies within 5 kilometers. And shield inversion, allies affected also receive shield hardness buff and shield heal over time. So actually pretty good if you're actually trying to play a little bit with the helping your friends out while trying not to explode in your fragile little ship. Devices that I am currently using, I have the red matter capacitor. Nice little, oh god, my ship's stuff's offline. Click it. Okay, I'm fine. The Antares Distress Protocol Beacon. Well, we all know that this is a really fun thing when you have clicked 10% all damage. Does anybody know if that's just phrased backwards and it should be 10% bonus all damage and it's Cat 2? Because I think it's Cat 2. 20% firing cycle haste for energy weapons and 20% flight speed and turn rate. Nice little clicky that was reclaimed was an event, so it's in event reclaims if you got it. And eventually the Muds Market or Phoenix Store some other day. Temporal Negotiator, this is from the Delta Recruits. So next time Delta Recruit is up, if you don't got one, you should probably make this. Bridge Officer power recharge is reduced by 50%. Flagship Distress Frequency Transponder. Summons your fleet's flagship when activating fleet support. Also event reclaims, and I think that one might actually be in Muds or Phoenix now. I might be wrong on that. And then Type 14 Shuttle Support Squadron, event reclaims, calls a squadron of 8 Type 14 shuttlecraft to assist you in combat. Blah, blah, blah. If you need some speed out of this, because I know some people like being super zoomy and crazy like that, I would definitely recommend Deuterium Surplus if you find this build to be too slow, but you want to actually play with this theme. So there is a little bit of I did actually get 4 lockbox traits in here. Sorry, it's a little more expensive. Oops, I forgot to change the color on the energy credits on here. Oh well, I'll fix that in post production. Ethereum beam enhancements. Obvious one is because it's part of the theme, and 2, it does the Ethereum. To see each stack of Ethereum beam enhancer increases your energy weapons damage by 1% for a maximum of 15%. Upon reaching 15% or 15 stacks, your attack will cause proton release at the targeted foe and a bunch of proton damage within a 5-kilometer radius. So if you are blasting a carrier when that goes off and you're keeping attack locks on that, you'll blow their fighters to smithereens. All aspects accounted for. Again, back to theme. Beam damage plus 100% protonic crush. Each time you are hit by an enemy in a 2-second period, you receive 1 stack of charge. When the stacks of charges reaches a critical level, 15, proton beam deals X number of proton damage. Mine is just shy of 200. I think I was on the ground again. Got to get used to cat click on the slideshow. Go back. The Boimler effect. Chance for bridge officer abilities to reset all bridge officer abilities. 70% chance to recover your recharge times on all of the bridge officer abilities up to the shared category cooldowns. And then we have, where'd the other one go? Unconventional systems. Did I not put that? Oh, I forgot to put that one on here. Okay, Uncon. Well, this build actually relies on Uncon because with having 1 minute cooldowns on a bunch of these console powers, some of them actually just went to my spam bar to be fired as actual weapons because they recharge that fast. I do not have the actual Uncon stats on here right now. Beam training. Well, I've got beams on here, as you saw, so 5% beam damage. I didn't have the dilithium to go buy the upgraded version of that yet, so I would recommend the superior beam training when you can get it. Techie. This ship is very, very squishy, so I use Techie for some hull restoration and starship damage control. Superior cannon training. Again, more cannon damage. This ship is very cannon heavy. Oh, no, there's Uncon. It's just down there. I just put it down when it should have been up. Okay, there's Uncon. Look, I made this thing this morning when I couldn't sleep.
Fair.
Operative. Critical chance, crit severity, because I am running a starship trait that keeps me moving if I am hitting with criticals, with cannons. Efficient captain, mostly because I don't have the lockbox traits that I want in here, and this one actually serves me well on some of the powers that I have bottomed out in the modes that I have them bottomed out in. So if plus all power levels at low settings, so on and so forth. Thrill Seeker, because I would like to move faster than this set allows. You can't re-engineer the impulse engines or anything on the drivetrain, so the speed you get is the speed you get. 15% flight and full impulse speed. Warp Theorist, plus warp core potential and EPS transfer. When you switch modes, your power moves. And so to get warp core potential, plus on the warp core potential, so more power and then faster power traits, power shifting. All right, so this is another space where this build gets heavy. I have all sorts of toys that I've collected over the years. This is definitely one of my most expensive builds that I'll be sharing because I do tend to want to help newer players get into things, and this one does not help that. Emergency weapon cycle, tier 6 battle cruiser. So the Arbiter, the Karak, and whichever one the Romulan one is. It's a Zen store ship. Legend, go for the kill. Oh wait, hold on. Let me finish the emergency weapon cycle. 50% weapon cycle firing haste, or weapon minus 50% weapon power cost for 30 seconds. 20% firing cycle haste for 30 seconds on emergency powered weapons. There we go. Go for the kill comes off the Jem'Hadar attack ships, either the Recon, Strike, or Legendary ship. There's 3 sources. Logic of battle, because I have lots of science and a couple intel abilities on here. So science or intel abilities equal debuffs for 5 seconds and plus 5 seconds of vulnerability. So immune to damage for 5 seconds to all foes disabled. 91% of all damage only versus user for 75 seconds, 7.5 seconds. So it's a nice little damage resistance buff there. But Hellbore Light, because I am using cannon rapid fire, and I really just like things shields to go away if they can. It comes off the Warden Temporal multi-mission cruiser, then store ship. While under the effects of beam overload and cannon rapid fire, your enemy weapons apply Hellbore Light to foes for 10 seconds. When taking directed energy weapon damage from any source, drain 2.5% of max shields. Up to 10,000 per hit, blah, blah, blah. Shields are depleted while under this effect. Trigger a 2.5 kilometer radius explosion, dealing 17,000 plasma damage. Plasma. Legendary particle fluctuation analysis. This one comes off the legendary Nebula Temporal Science Cruiser. Activating a universal console grants the following buffs to self and 4 nearby allies for 10 seconds. 1% crit chance and healing crit chance. Very useful for me to stay alive. Thank you. More crit severity and healing crit severity. Also for me to stay alive. Thank you. More more power, more +2 to current and max power settings, and of course 15% starship perception. Not really useful in TFOs because that's where I'm at, but I suppose you PvPers would find that maybe not useful. Thirst for battle. This one comes off the legendary Bordescu command cruiser. Using cannon firing modes or cloak applies bonuses. Using a cloaking device, cannon rapid fire or cannon scatter volley applies a plus 220% return rate, strength and flight speed strength, and plus 40 increased damage resistance for 15 seconds. Since this build was originally built for the Rallus, that is super useful for me. And then I do not have a price for this one. The Point Defense Protocols. This is literally just here because it's the only starship trait that I could find that does proton damage. Affects foe 1 max within a 5 kilometer sphere. This one does 580 proton damage to targets every half second. It deals double damage to mines, small craft, and torpedoes. Useful for keeping swarmers from murdering you if your dismiss console is not off cooldown. It comes from the Delta Officer packs that you can get for Zen. But there was none on the exchange when I checked this morning, so I have no estimated cost for that other than yes. Reputation traits. Yes. Reputation traits. Tier 6 gamma reputation, magnified armor, firepower, lots of bonus damage. Tier 6 energy frequencer. For me, this is a healing choice versus maybe more damage or more speed because, just need more healing. 3.1% of your outgoing damage as whole heal to you. This is from the Iconian reputation. Precision for crit chance from Romulan reputation. Dyson reputation is the advanced targeting systems. And I want my bridge officer powers going faster. So chronocapacitor array for bridge officer recharge. This is the standard Let's Murder Everything skill tree. So if you've seen any of Nick builds or you've seen any of the other DPSers trees, I do tend to follow that part of their builds with things. So you want to grab a screen snip of all that, you always can, or you can just find it on their builds. It will also be included in obviously the build later. Bridge officer powers. I am running Tractor Beam 1 for Uncon, Charge Particle Burst for Uncon, Chemostate Laced Weaponry for I Want Things Dead, and that cost 800,000 or 8 million energy credits, or you can get out of the Infinity Lockbox. Torpedo Spread 2 or 3, Beamfire at Will 3, Cannon Rapid Fire 3, Emergency Power to Weapons for Emergency Weapon Cycle, Engineering Team 2, Eject Warp Plasma for Uncon because I didn't want to go chase down the bubble skill out of one of the missions, Viral Impulse Speed Burst Intelligent Specialization for Uncon, Hazard Emitters because please don't let me die, Electromagnetic Pulse Probe for Uncon trigger. Tychon's Rift is literally just there as a space filler because the commander tactical or commander science power is usually disabled by tactical mode. Although if you really want to, you could throw a gravity well in there for when you are out of tac mode. And then jam targeting sensors for Uncon. Superior Romulan operators on all of those stations. The trait there, the 2% crit chance, the 5% crit severity, 15% recharge. You could also use Watcher buffs if you would like to lean more into your crit chance and have the spare energy credits. Build summary. This is essentially expensive base space Barbie build meant to showcase the full Proton theme build from all the bits that you guys have trickled into the game over the last decade or so. Also, lots of the box traits because I was trying to keep it down. But this is a build that I was going to be working on when we found out the Ethereum weapons were coming out, and we were talking about doing more, touching some of the older ships and bringing those onto the streams and doing theme builds and other off-meta fun for our viewers.
Well, that's awesome. So, just based on what you're saying, was there anything about this particular ship that lent itself to this build, or was it just that
Science Destroyer? Because it converts. So when if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong, I'm getting old. I think the Science Destroyers were originally introduced with the Dyson.
I thought the first one was a crossfield. Okay, never mind. My bad.
Am I wrong or am I right?
Stu says you're right, and I trust Stu more than me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Tier 5 event Science Destroyer was the first one. That's why I said I am getting old, and I might have. So that was the since that this ship kind of hails back to that line. That is where I went with it. We've got, and the proton weapons are new. The ship is new. I could see like in universe them going, hey, let's take all of these systems from this line of ships and put them on the new Vulcan ship. So
very cool. All right, and I forgot to ask Stu how this his ship flies question. So I'm gonna get it to both of you then. Stu, for the
Oh, the camera's back.
Yeah,
How did
you're
that
back.
happen?
You're alive. I saved you.
Oh my
He's
God.
back.
Stu, for your ship,
Okay.
what sort of flight style do you think you'd be
NP,
good
like I
for?
said, NP is a raider, so you want to focus on the aft end of your enemies. So you want to fly up right behind them and then just unload everything you got on them, regardless of what type of weapons you're using. The nice thing about it is that it has Merrick Worker and command seating, so you can run energy weapons on this thing, or you can run torpedoes on this thing.
Nice. And Wolf, same question.
So this one is a attack run ship, or get in front of it and hope you do enough damage with all the protonic crush and all of your consoles firing off really, really fast. So you've got to be really aware of your shields and your hull before you decide whether you're going to do a sit and stay for a moment or just do attack runs. It's super strong forward with the two omnibees on the back. It does at least be able to defend itself against any targetable torpedoes that are coming in. So it's not optimal. It does take a minute. As Nick could attest, it took me about 3 days to take it from where I was sub 200K, and I was like, okay, this might top out at 200K. It took me about 3 days to go from there to 400K. So
Nice.
to figure out how to get there. It is definitely very throttle dependent. If you're not feathering your throttle or managing your speed and direction, you're gonna just fly through things, get tractored, and dead.
Okay. And we don't want to be dead, thank you. All
He's
right.
bad.
Well then, I guess Nick, it's your turn, buddy.
Dun dun dun.
All right. So here's the Andorian light battle cruiser. I made a torpedo boat on it. I was thinking of doing like a theme Andorian build, but because this is one of two ships in the game that is full spec pilot and Lieutenant Commander Command, the other one being the Terran Eagle, so we can take full advantage of the covert warhead modules I needed to do a torpedo build. For those who ask, well, why does the Lieutenant Commander Command matter? For Concentrate Firepower 3, it gives you an extra high out every 2 seconds, and the lower ranks of 1 and 2 is every 4 seconds. With a torpedo build like this, it does start to add up rather significantly, so we really like that Concentrate Firepower 3. So, to my build. So, torpedoes act a little bit differently to energy weapons. Each torpedo will one will act differently under high yield to the other. It's not just you press high yield and you get a really big torpedo, or you press spread and you get a lot of torpedoes everywhere. So we get a bit more specific about what we're picking. So in my order, I have the enhanced biomolecular photon torpedo, which is really good under high yield. I have the Delphic distortion torpedo, which is really good under high yield. Then I have the neutronic torpedo launcher, which is really good under spread. and the dark matter quantum torpedo, which is really good under spread. And at the end, they have the Maelstrom quantum torpedo, which is good under both, but is really decent, or is really good. I don't say decent, it's really good under spread. So I have here on my trays, which I manually time, like Stu was saying before, for that really big hit once it's fully charged. I have torpedo spread 3, and I have Maelstrom quantum torpedo, so I can sit there and make sure I know it's fully charged and going to give us the big spike hit that we want from it. Next up, for my deflector, I have the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector for the crit chance, crit severity, and all good damage stats that we want. The impulse engines, I have the prevailing intervated impulse engines for the overcharge that we want. I never really tell people when I'm telling them to get these for the about the stats. You're looking at the overcharge. Every time you hit a firing mode, you basically get a mini evasive maneuvers, and it's a good chunk of the time, so you'll be zipping around nice and fast. And then because torpedo builds have to get in nice and close, it's like part of their, to make them effective, you need to be basically right on top of your targets. I have the mycelial harmonic matter antimatter core and the Tilly's review pending modified shield for the 2-piece from the Discovery Legends rep for the plus 120% hull regeneration, so hopefully to keep me alive. On the rear, I have 3 mines to help debuff and do additional damage. So I have the Thoron Infused Quantum Mine, the Black Ops Mine Launcher, and the Elite Fleet Draenor Quantum Mine Launcher. So each of them do, like the torpedoes, do slightly different things depending on where they're used and what's going on. So like the Black Ops Mine is going to split into 2 Black Op mine and 2 blade mines, and then the others are they're going to go into 1 just big come out when the mines go, depending on what pattern you're using. If you're using a different rank, you get more mines. The higher you go, the better it is, but on this build it's only a mine pattern beta 1. But some you have a dot damage, some just have additional, some have better explosion radius, and so on. Next up, we have the devices. We have Tyrium Surplus for our extra evasive maneuvers in a can. We have the Kinetic Amplifier for the 30% bonus projectile damage and 5% crit severity. We have the Kobayashi Maru for the little buffs it gives. I'm not running the new Antares because that, as a torpedo boat, I don't get any benefit from fire cycling haste from the common sources like an energy weapon build does. We have the Temporal Negotiator for those lovely cooldown reductions. And last but not least, for the devices, we have a weapons and auxiliary battery. This could just be an auxiliary battery, but I'm just have a lot of these, so it's a weapon and auxiliary. It paired with the console phase-space membrane, which is a up to 400% bonus damage to torpedoes when fully charged. But while it's charging, it drains your auxiliary power. So when it gets to about halfway, you need to click some sort of auxiliary power buff to give you more auxiliary power, so that you can get it to the 400% bonus damage. All right, to my consoles. For my tactical consoles and universal slots, I have Spire tactical consoles. I have 4 vulnerability exploiters for the critical severity and torpedo weapon damage. And because I wasn't liking my crit chance numbers, I did 1 vulnerability locator. So it's 2% crit chance and 34.5 torpedo damage. For my engineering consoles, I have the adaptive emergency systems for a bit of survivability and bonus damage. With our Uncon builds and the Voven console, this being able to be cooled down while it's running is rather nice. So it's you almost say it's a constant buff. We have the Agony redistributor. So this is your AoE recursive shearing. You mark a target, you do damage to that target, and it spreads damage outwards. So helping these single target builds with AoE. We have the subspace fracture tunneling field. Otherwise, if you're hearing from the videos, this is the Voven console from the Voven carrier from 2024 summer event, I want to guess. Shield frequency overload from the Yacht Thought for the nice shield damage and resistance to dreadnoughts. That's mostly who I use this against, like Borg cubes and so on. We have the console from the Eagle that makes this build really shine. With the 28% projectile weapon damage and the passive, if we can see it on the stream, which is probably really hard to see, it sets shared torpedo recharge to 1.5 seconds. if was longer, or to 0.5 seconds if equipped with a pilot maneuvers. So this is where this ship really shines, because it's a full spec pilot. So that means commander level pilot abilities. You get 0.5 second shared recharge. So shared recharge time means if I fire my enhanced biomolecular, I have half a second before I can fire another torpedo on. And with most torpedo builds, you can't make that any faster, unlike this console and the console from the Terran Rep. I don't remember the name of that console anymore because it's been a few years since I've used it. But those reduce the shared cooldown reduction to allow us to fire our torpedoes even fire. So it allows us to shoot more torps and do more damage. Next up, we have the Micro Quantum Torpedo Phalanx Array from the Achilles. This is just a really nice big damage console, and it's all torpedoes. So it's with my consoles, it's getting buffed up nicely. For those who haven't used this, it's a 2-part console. It's got a targeted and a seeking. So you 10 targeted quantum torpedoes and 10 seeking. So that means if you shoot the gateway and say infected the conduit, 10 will go towards the gateway. And if the gateway dies, the 10 seeking will just find something and shoot them instead. So it's you're not going to lose it just in case your target dies. In the science console slot, we have the phase-space membrane. This is a really, really big buff. This is up to 400% bonus damage I mentioned before. This is needs a little bit of timing, and if anyone hasn't used it before and are going to use it, just a little reminder, it cannot be spammed because it's a toggle console. So if you toggle it on, if you click it again, it'll turn itself straight off and you won't get any benefit from it. So you do have to manually activate it and do not put it on a spam bar.
Got it.
Last for my science consoles, we have the custom power matrix. This is one of very few sources that will haste torpedoes, and especially the Maelstrom torpedo. So this is for 5% crit chance, 15 severity, and 20 weapons fire cycling haste. So that's helping cool down my torpedoes even more, give me more crit chance and severity. So it's rather nice. And for my tactical console slot, like I mentioned before, vulnerability exploiters for more crit severity. So as you can see here, my resting stats are quite nice. For a torpedo build, I have 44 crit chance and 223 severity.
You said Maelstrom torpedo a bunch of times. Which Maelstrom torpedo? The quantum or the trifluoride?
The quantum torpedo, but it would work either way. If you had the trifluoride and didn't have the quantum, you could throw the trifluoride in. The trifluoride from the event, they all say is 5% less damage. So for how much this does, it's for most people, it isn't going to be a too big of a factor. Just okay. It's going to work the same way, and it's going to charge the same way, and other than its look, it's going to just do the same thing performance-wise.
Nice.
For the skill tree, like Wolfie said, this is my pretty standard 27 points in tactical, then 9 and 10, or some go vice versa, 10 in science and 9 in engineering, but it's our pretty standard build. I've been using this for years. I use it on all my builds. We don't take the defense. We take all in tactical for the damage. We take some hull cap, and then the other important factors are we take the EPG, so you can do your science builds. We take longer range targeting centers, so our energy weapons do as much damage as they can if we're on an energy weapon build, and power accordingly. So power and engines, weapons and engines power, and +3 to all power, and +0 to 10 subsystem power based on subsystem target. For my specializations, I'm running intelligence officer primary for mostly just for the flanking. So like Stu was saying before, when you're flanking, you get a bonus damage. You get more crit severity and more crit chance, so we do more damage. And secondary, I'm running temporal operative for entropic rider, because torpedoes have a higher chance to proc entropic rider than energy weapons do. So it has a really high chance to do good damage for you. And to my traits.
Question from chat. Busy Beaver wanted to know, I guess they just said not using the built-in hotkey system, but I'm guessing they're asking why you're not using the built-in hotkey system.
The built-in hotkey system, is that on YouTube?
I don't
Oh.
know. Oh no, that's
It's-
on Facebook.
No.
That's on Twitch.
No, not using the built-in hotkey system. No, so we all use a program called Stow Keybinds. It's just when we hit spacebar, it just goes through. It's not that. I know the wording can be a bit.
The technical term is
But-
complex keybinds.
Yes, I was gonna say we. I remember Wolfie was struggling this the other. Now I'm looking at chat.
Oh
I was
no,
being good.
I'm so sorry.
Spacebar Simulator.
Spacebar Simulator. Yeah, I was doing my best not to look at chat because everyone likes to troll me in chat. It's good fun.
It's good fun, he says, while he weeps silently.
We're all here for you, man.
It's the people who send me special images on Discord while I'm streaming to try and
Oh,
get me in trouble.
ha!
Oh dear.
That's
I'm not there for that. That's your problem.
Yep. Subspatial warheads. Okay, no, sorry. I'm skipping over my personal space traits. We have a good day to die. So go down fighting, maybe use at any hull integrities. This is a tactical captain only trait. So go down fighting is a tactical captain ability. So for 15 seconds, 20 damage resistance rating and 50 bonus damage. So it's nice. And it's a good source of damage. One of the things that make tactical captains do more damage. We have superior projectile training for 7.5% bonus projectile weapon damage. So it's a torpedo build. So we want our torpedoes and projectiles doing more damage. We have resonating payload modifications for -5 physical and kinetic resistance rating. So this is just stacking debuff. So debuff is good. It means your enemies will have less resistance rating and you'll do more damage to them. So doing more damage is always nice for the build like this, because it doesn't have really any source of survivability other than the Disco 2-piece and an adaptive emergency system. So if things live too long, you're in trouble. You need to run away.
Run.
Run.
Sorry, please continue.
We have Veruvian explosions from the Lobi store. On dealing kinetic weapon damage, 15% chance to add at 40% of kinetic damage as additional radiation damage. So that's nice. You fire your torpedoes, and you have a chance to do more damage. We have Fireball Escape for the immunity to Warp Core Breach. It also gives you 20 severity and 552% turn rate strength and flight speed strength. But most reasons I tell people to put these on builds is immune to Warp Core Breach. So yeah, everyone hates dying to those random Warp Core Breaches that one-shot you. This will stop that most of the time.
Some of the time, at least.
Some of the time.
It does have a lockout period, so yeah.
Yeah. I have a video from many years ago when we were doing torpedo builds. JB had said, I bet Nick's going to die from, I don't remember the full name, REA. It shoots out heavy
Attack
torpedoes.
pattern Nick.
Yeah.
I died to Warp Core Breach, REA, and Tricobot Mines all in the exact same 0.1 of a second. It was hilarious.
Wow. Special
It was
talent.
just, yep. It's only I could do it. It was amazing.
Attack pattern Nick.
Yep,
I love how we've just immortalized that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It went around. Yes.
Someone sent me that clip at some point.
The equivalent of C9.
Yep. I would say you'd probably want to have to, if you want to show it, you want to mute the audio.
Oh no, I won't show it on here. I would just want to see it for myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of my videos you definitely don't want to show on a PG stream.
We're Australian. This just comes with the territory.
Yep, exactly. Terran targeting systems for 15 critical severity. It does reduce your speed by 10% when you do get crit hit, but most of the time you don't notice it because most of these builds have a lot of built-in speed, so you don't, so you have so much you don't really notice a little bit when it's taken off. You have the Boimler effect for your cooldowns to your bridge officer abilities. So every time you hit a bridge officer ability, you have 17.5% chance to recover everything to their global cooldown. Just means you won't be able to cool it down anymore. So that's always very nice. We have unconventional systems, everyone's favorite personal space trait.
I've heard just on this, based on this stream alone.
Yeah, so using a control bridge officer ability is -7% cooldown reduction to universal consoles. So a lot of these builds have a lot of universal consoles to make them strong, and we need to cool them down. So you hit abilities like eject warp plasma, clean getaway, tractor beam, so on and so on. You'll get a bit of cooldown reduction back, and with the Woven console as well, subspace fracture tunneling field, you get 25% reduction every time you hit that. So between those two sources, you can get these consoles back rather quickly and be rather strong. And last but not least, the Breen Shield Tunneling for the 15% shield penetration with weapons and 15 armor penetration with weapons, and -10% maximum shield capacity. Because I'm not relying on my shields to keep me alive, I'm more into hull and resistance rating. I wasn't too worried about getting negative shields, so more damage, more pen is always very good. To my starship traits, subspatial warheads hitting with high yield or transport warhead spawns a level 66 subspace tear that would chase down the nearest enemies while causing 2,000 physical damage and -5 engine power to all foes within. So with a build like this and concentrate firepower 3, so every 2 seconds you fire a high yield with this sort of build, you also spawn in a subspatial tear. Because I'm using high yield, I don't have my own. I'm using spread and not high yield. I don't have an additional, but with concentrate firepower, you're getting one every 2 seconds, and it is still sufficient. Next up, we have Entwine Tactical Matrices for the when activating a torpedo spread, you get scatter volley and high yield. That isn't really too worried. You're not worried about that, but you really like the when you hit fire at will and scatter volley, it gives you more torpedo spreads. For those who haven't tried a torpedo build out, torpedo firing modes work like the old beam overload. You shoot them once and they're on their 15-second cooldown. So the more torpedo spreads, more high yields we can get, the happier we are. We're not just then firing unbuffed torpedoes. The ruin of our enemies, the ruin of our wallets. When you defeat a foe, 3% bonus damage for 20 seconds, stacking up to 100 times, so 300% bonus damage. It's always very nice. And say you're on a patrol, it helps you get through your patrols and be nice and strong. And every 5th defeat, -15% recharge time to bridge officer abilities over 5 seconds. So you get a bit more cooldown reduction from the ruin of our enemies. But with the Boimler effect, normally you're okay, but it's always nice to have a little backup. Terran Goodbye, when you defeat a foe, you get 25 accuracy for 20 seconds and 5 critical chance. This stacks up to 3 times, so it's 75 accuracy and 15 critical chance rather quickly. And normally on a build like this, if you have Terran Goodbye up, this won't ever drop once you get your 3 stacks. So it's just a permanent 15 crit chance and 75 severity. Next up, we have Universal Designs. When activating a Universal console, you get 2 crit chance and 10 severity, stacking up to 5 times. So this is 10 chance and 50 severity. So more crit and more severity, or crit chance and crit severity is always very good. More damage is, more crits, more damage, and we're very happy. For the last 2 traits, we have Vanguard Shield Shaping. This is a recently changed trait. It used to stack indefinitely, so you could get some rather hilarious numbers with your torpedoes, but now it is working as intended. It's been fixed by, Bordicus is the one who said he fixed it, so I want to say Bort was the one who did the fix on this. So it's 20% all damage with torpedo weapons and exotic damage abilities for 30 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. So this is 80 bonus damage with torpedoes. So that's a large buff to torpedoes. It's always very good. And Ceaseless Momentum, 5 bonus kinetic damage for 45 seconds when firing a torpedo, 5 bonus kinetic damage resistance rating, stacking up to 5 times, and -1%. Minus 1 second to recharge time of torpedoes. So for a torpedo build, you just want to be firing your torpedoes as much as humanly possible. So Ceaseless Momentum is a damage buff and a cooldown reduction to your torpedo. So it is still, I think, a mainstay here. Every testing I did, it just felt worse without this trait on. So it stays on. I know it's more expensive for KDFs players, I'm sorry, but it is still a very good trade for torpedo builds. To my space reputation, we have some that probably look a bit unique for people. So we have our standard crit ones. We have advanced targeting systems. We have Tyler's duality and precision for 5 crit chance. 4.9 crit chance from Tyler's duality on this ship. It's a scaling crit chance buff for those who haven't used it, up to 200,000 hull. That's at scale, and 20 severity. But for the 2 unique ones, so we have Omega kinetic shearing. So this works similar to Veruvian. It deals 12% of your outgoing damage as a dot over 6 seconds. Adds a dot to projectile weapons, so the tooltip on the bottom isn't quite as accurate as the little writing on the top. So with the torpedo build, you get Entropic Rider dot, you get Omega Kinetic Shearing dot, and you get Veruvian Explosions dot. So all the dots. More dots. Torpedo pre-fire sequence is 15.6 bonus torpedo damage and 41.3 destructible torpedo flight speed. So it helps your torpedoes if you're using REA or like a plasma torpedo. It'll help them fly even faster and hopefully get to their target. To my stations, we have jam targeting sensors for an uncon proc. We have destabilizing resonance beam 1 for the debuff and little bits of physical damage it does. We have concentrate firepower 3 as it gives you 20% extra kinetic damage to your target that you mark, and every 2 seconds it grants torpedo high yield 1 to the attacking player. The awkward part with concentrate firepower 3 is if you mark it, it can still be taken by other people. So keep that in mind. If you're running with another torpedo build and say they don't use concentrate firepower 3, they might be saying, yay, I'm getting more high yield for free, and taking yours and making you sad. That's the one downside for torpedo builds is they do compete with each other rather aggressively.
Don't make people sad. Why are y'all doing that?
I'm sorry.
People
And
are
waiting
precious.
progress. Concentrate firepower.
All right.
We have sorry, for the tactical, we have beam
no, go
fire
ahead.
at will to pro.
Go
Sorry?
ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
We have beam fire at will 1 to proc our Twine tactical matrices. This then turns to a torpedo spread 1, so more torpedo firing modes, the happier I am. We have Chemosite laced weaponry 1 to add to my dots, more dots. Chemosite laced weaponry will always trigger on projectile weapons, unlike energy weapons. So same like Entropic Rider. Projectile weapons enjoy the dots. We have Mine Dispersal Pattern Beta 1. So it's good to give your mines a firing mode so that they get more damage. We have Torpedo Spread 3, mostly here for the Maelstrom Torpedo. Then into the Pilot Commander Engineering slot, we have Emergency Powered Engines for the bonus to engine power and flight speed. And that is then paired with the Duty Officer, the Emergency Con Hologram. Most people know what it is, but if you don't, it is a reset to your evasive maneuvers. So when you hit evasive maneuvers, it goes on cooldown. And if you hit emergency powered engines, you'll get your evasive maneuvers back, and you can zip around nice and quick all the time. Next up, we have Clean Getaway 1. This is mostly here because it's an uncon trigger. So unconventional systems to cool down our universal consoles nice and fast. We have Eject Warp Plasma 1. Same again, it's just mostly here for a uncon proc. We have Flyer Part 3 for the damage buff and flight speed buff that it provides. It does hurt you a little bit, 3% of your hull capacity every second, but hopefully with the Disco 2-piece, it will be okay. If you don't know how Flyer Part works, you have to be at 50% throttle to activate it, and then let it charge. So yeah, you're getting a damage buff and you're getting damaged. Just show it off real quick, and that's that. And then when it finishes, you then get a damage buff after. So you see it's 15 seconds, so it's not charging, but we still have Flyer Part on my little buff tray here. Yeah, nice. Damage buffs are always nice. And for the last two, Tractor Beam 1. Yeah, got to make things go boom. Tractor Beam 1 and Scramble Sensors 1 for uncon procs. And to my duty officers, We have 27 or 47 for tactical. We have 15% chance to improve critical severity by 20%. We don't have any intel abilities to proc the secondary, but that's okay. We always like critical severity. Where's the beam overload? I'm sorry, Bob. And I looked down at chat just as he said that. We then have 3 projectile weapon officers for 20% chance to improve recharge time by 5 seconds for our torpedoes. So what this means is if I fire my enhanced biomolecular torpedo and it goes on, say, I think it's a 6 or 8 second cooldown. If I fire the next torpedo, the Delphic, it potentially can give me 5% reduction to that torpedo's timer, and then it might be back a lot faster so that we're firing more and more and more torpedoes. And then, as I mentioned before, we have the emergency con hologram for the recharge to evasive maneuvers, and the 23 or 47 for the tactical team-wide 10% hull buff, and the command 30% chance to improve critical chance by 2.5%. And that is my build. I want to check my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything.
I'm the only one who didn't have notes.
It's all right. We still love you.
Maybe.
The one thing I missed, I think, it was to highlight the fact that I know I mentioned it, but torpedoes on the tray to make sure you prioritize certain torpedoes first is a really nice trick we've all used. But you just need to make sure if you do have like fire or weapons on your spacebar to take that off. You need to have just fire or energy weapons so you're not interfering with that cycle.
Okay.
But I think that is it.
So Cheops asked why you didn't have scatter volley for another torpedo spread.
Yep.
Because I ran out of room, and the way everything was laid out, I wanted to mine dispersal pattern beta 1, and because the way ETM works is you have to manually activate the second trigger. So I thought for most people and myself, having just one on the spam bar and the mine pattern beta on the spam bar would be a little bit more easy and effective. And you're not going to double up on the triggers. So your minds are happy, you're happy, and hopefully it all works nicely.
All right. So just like everybody else, give us the TLDR on this ship. How do you imagine flying this in battle?
I can't say the way I normally fly it. I got to PG it. You put the nose of the ship right against the target, and hope to God you make everything go boom. Torpedoes have a very narrow firing arc, so that's one thing. But they also, with concentrate firepower, travel time is actually a factor. So when they hit concentrate firepower, you would reset, higher goes off, and then you can get another one if it's been the 2 seconds. So travel time is actually a factor with torpedoes, unlike energy weapon builds predominantly.
Alrighty. Well,
he likes to get really intimate with that build.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Right up in there. Right up in there. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you all so much for coming here and educating us on that. As somebody who is currently attempting to do a torp boat for the Kumari, I'm going to have to be looking at Nick's build later in the Discord. I did make the thread in the build section, but I locked it so that only you guys could post your builds in there instead of, like 10,000 comments about like when are they posting the builds or whatever. So when you're ready to post it, just ping me on Discord and I'll give you a spot to throw it in there.
Excellent.
And then let's go down and let us know, how people can find out more about you and where they can go to do that. So we'll start with Galactic.
The only place I'm really active these days is on my YouTube channel, even then I haven't posted much videos on there, but I am working on a few videos, so if you want to go, there's my YouTube channel.
All right, and your YouTube channel is Galactic Gaming? You gotta say the name so people know.
Galactic Gaming 96220. There's a lot of them out there, but mine's special because it's me.
All right, Galactic Gaming 96220. Cool. Wolf, where do we find you?
Follow me like 5 days a week, hanging out on Twitch on STO, helping people do things, causing chaos, listening to music. I haven't started doing YouTube videos yet, but today's little note session that I had with the presentation is actually my preparing to expand into doing a YouTube channel. Ooh. So for now, just here with the Wolf Gray. Unfortunately, the person with Wolf Gray as the default name is taken and is not a pleasant person. So,
Oh, fun.
but anyways, yep, you can mostly find me there. I will do my best to help. You can also find me in the Star Trek
that's that
Online
one.
Discord. So if you have questions about my build and they aren't trolly, I will answer. If they are trolly, there's the block button.
Sounds good. Steve-O, it would be easy for devs to emulate builds if I could just type give item and give myself any of the items, but I can't actually do that on a live server because that would break the game. So I can't. So I understand your pain, believe me. All right, Stu, where can people find you?
You can find me at youtube.com/stu1701. That's my YouTube channel. I throw on a bunch of videos on there every once in a while whenever the ADHD allows me.
All right, and Nick.
I'm on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch predominantly for streaming, and YouTube is normally build for ships when I get the inspiration to make something funky and share it to everyone. But Nick NB on both platforms, and my Discord if you want to get pinged for randomness.
And
That'd be the best way.
That's Nick_NB.
That is correct.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. All right. Well, again, thank you to all four of you for your amazing insights and the crazy cool builds you showed us today. Thank you to everybody in chat for being here and for being active. I'm going to figure out this problem so we'll be able to see Twitch chat on stream next time, but for right now. Next week, we will be back with some developers. We're going to do a sort of deep dive post-mortem on the documentary, as well as looking at an event that goes live on that day.
Yes, what's the event?
What could the event be? I can't
I
say,
don't know.
but I'm sure some of you can say. So
I'm gonna
anyway,
hang out on Mars that week, though.
sounds good. All right. Let's see. Are there any quick questions I can answer? I know Kel had one. Oh, cross IP stuff. So even if our license holder owns another property like Babylon 5 or Galaxy Quest, most notably, we still have to pay a license for that other property. And so that's what's been sort of stopping, that's what stopped the Galaxy Quest idea back in the day. And Cleon Executioner cannons are still bugged. All right, thank you for letting me know. I saw that in the Discord. I will pass that on. And finally, Chops wants to know, Nick, why are you the way you are?
I don't know. I was born
Australia.
this way.
It all started
Australia.
at a very
There
young
you
age,
go.
yes,
What's
Australia.
while I'm looking for somebody to raid, what's the scariest animal you've had to run away from?
As a kid, I think it was like a 7-foot goanna. I live in
What
a
is a
pretty
goanna?
calm area. It looks like a big lizard.
Oh, okay.
It's just a really big lizard.
Cool.
I am also Australian, so I also have two animals to add. First up was an Irukandji jellyfish. Almost got stung by one of those up near Newcastle. The second one was a cassowary, which is not fun.
Oh, wow. The one that got brought up in chat. Yeah.
The kaiju turkey, yes.
Yeah, the kaiju turkey.
We are the only.
all right.
We are the only live
chat-
channel.
That's what I was saying. We're the only ones playing Star Trek Online. So this is your opportunity, chat. Somebody throw me someone to raid. Otherwise, I know who I'm going to raid, but...
Raid Shadow
but
Legends.
No.
Hey,
Oh, before you jump out, there was somebody who was asking if you know if and when the 10th anniversary bundle is going live. Is that going to happen?
The best answer I have is closer to the summer. Somebody was asking about that on Discord, and I followed up with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks. Lots of people
I
were
had-
asking, and then somebody asked in chat. So
Yep. All right. I was
I
going to
had
raid
one
Peace, and Trexpert suggested Peace, so that's what we're going to do.
have at it.
I had one question from one of my YouTube videos.
Oh, yeah?
It was somewhat of a not a super troll, but it was like it was 5-3 bird of prey when, and I'm like, I'm on a stream with Caleb in a couple of days. He's the one who loves the M'Challa,
Do we not have a 5-3 bird of prey?
no,
No,
all the bird
we-
of preys. All the bird of preys are raiders. So at most they could have a 5-1, but all the ones that we currently have in the game are 4-2.
Interesting.
Cough,
All right,
cough,
well,
legendary
I'll-
bird of prey. Cough, cough.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go knock on some doors right now. Unfortunately, it's actually going to be 7-0. But
Oh.
I would love to see the theory crafting for that. All right. Well, again, thank you to Nick,
So that's-
Stu, Cinder, and Wolf for being here today. And folks, we will see you next week. In the meantime, hop onto the Discord, and we'll see you there.
Thanks for
Bye-bye,
having us.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye
you.
now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now.